Hey, it's your girl Topnotch Fowler, and I have a very special guest on tonight. And guess who I have? Who do I have?
Tony from Downtown Dialogue.
Okay, Tony. All right, we about to get this interview started.
Okay,
so tell us a little bit about yourself, Tony.
All right, so like I say, my name's Tony. I'm the host of Downtown Dialogue, which is supposed to be kind of an underground news source. The mission of the YouTube channel is that, the way the mass media reports on news is not really like on the ground anymore. You know what I'm saying? You watch Fox News, NBC, CNN, it don't matter. They're all going to be, well, we just got word that Donald Trump, it's just, you can't make a connection with that.
Right.
You know that these people are putting on a facade when they're doing their reporting because it's supposed to be the news. When it comes to mine, it's supposed to be more on the ground, people-oriented, story-oriented, not necessarily driving to get clicks and be an algorithm. It's more purposeful than that. So that's a mission I set out to do. And then that's something that I've taken pride in for the last couple months. Yeah.
Okay, Tony. Okay. So let's get into the questioning. How long have you been involved in filmmaking?
Filmmaking, I don't want to say I'm filmmaking yet. I know
Okay.
I do say Go-Go's my film. I do say that, but I feel like that's more something that's kind of getting me like entered into the film space. When I would look back on the Go-Go video, I noticed that I could have done a lot more work, honestly, which is a good feeling, really, because and I know that I can improve and do better. But filmmaking, I used to make videos for YouTube when I was a kid. I did little gaming videos, and after a while in high school I started working at Target and, kind of starting to live into my late teens. And I was like, all right, well, maybe, making videos about gaming isn't really going to pan out. So regardless, I still had this a creative, like this videography, creative energy inside me that kind of never went away, but I stopped doing it. Then come into high school, there's a videography class during COVID. I took a little bit from that, but since it was during COVID, I couldn't make a connection with my teacher or the class. I'm a people person. I got to be in person. So that kind of failed too. And then during 2020, like halfway through high school is when I got super political. It was really COVID that turned me super political. I don't know if that happened for everybody, but I suddenly started to care a lot about politics. When the pandemic was happening. I'm out in public openly defending Joe Biden. It's a lot of things I had against Joe Biden, a lot of criticisms. But regardless, that was happening. So I took my video creative energy that I still kind of had in politics and put it together to start filmmaking, I guess you could say, because reposting on Instagram don't do enough. I feel like I want to get people to think the same way I do when I post something political on Instagram, but then they're going to see another post and another post, another post. They're going to forget what I posted 10 minutes later.
Got it.
So I think making videos was a way to reach people more effectively than just reposting on Instagram. So all those came together to make me want to make political content, man on the street interviews, just something special and something that might change your mind.
Okay.
Make you think a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Mm-hmm. Is this your first film, Tony?
I guess you could say it is. I had little short films back in middle school, for projects and stuff. I had my friends act in them, but that doesn't really count. This is, I would say, the first thing I would consider like a film, like a real hour-and-a-half, full-length, something that I've made to present a subject. Yeah, this will be my first one, actually.
Okay. All right. Okay. Do you have a production team?
A third of my production team sitting over there right now. No, my production team really doesn't exist. I have just a lot of friends who are dedicated to helping me. They kind of see the same vision that I do, and they're willing to be a cameraman for free for a couple hours, So I do all the, I guess you could say, the intellectual part where I got to think of what videos I got to do. I do, scheduling when we're supposed to get out there. I edit the videos myself. I advertise them, market them myself. Hopefully, maybe one day I will have a little team. That'd be nice. And hopefully I can make my friends my team. But right now, even without a production team, I'm making do. I'm just getting my cousin, Tyler, my friend Jordan, my friend Patrick to come get behind the camera for a couple hours. And that's all it takes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Did you have anyone inspire you to pursue making films as well as going out in the streets, producing videos or anything like that?
I did. And if you get a chance, I would take a look. His name is Andrew Callahan, and he has a channel named Channel 5. And essentially, Channel 5 was supposed to be like an ironic take on like national news stations. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a YouTube channel who does man on the street interviews, but he's Channel 5. So it's kind of ironic in that way. But the type of content he makes is exactly what I'm inspired by. It was his content specifically that kind of was like, all right, like I could be doing this. Like that was the first moment I ever had where I saw somebody doing something else and I got like heavily inspired like that. He makes man on the street content. Like, for example, one of my favorite works he did, full-length film called Las Vegas Tunnels. And I don't know if you knew about this, but in Las Vegas, there's vagrancy laws against the homeless that say you can't live on the street. And if you do, you'll be arrested. So what these people do is Las Vegas has drainage tunnels that run on for like 70 or 80 square miles. These homeless people have adapted by moving into the tunnels beneath the city.
Oh, wow.
Coming up to get like scraps, selling at the scrap yard to make a little bit of change. They come back in and sleep in the tunnels at night. Some of them died due to the floods whenever it rains suddenly in Las Vegas. Regardless, this is a crazy topic because Las Vegas is really doing nothing to address the issue of homelessness in the first place or the dying economy of Las Vegas as a city. So instead, they create the vagrancy laws to keep the street clean, and all these people get put beneath really society. They get put out of sight. And out of sight, out of mind. You know, no one's really thinking about these people. So he has a full-length film where he goes down into the tunnels, spends a night there with them, interviews them, gets their full story, and actually at the end tries to help them get IDs. Because in Las Vegas, you can't get, it's very hard to obtain an ID without like previous identification or a birth certificate, social security card. And if you're homeless, you might have got robbed like a year ago because you've been on the streets and now you don't have none of this information.
Facts.
So to get your ID back in Las Vegas is really hard. You need an address, actually a mailing address in order to get your ID because they have to send it somewhere. So if you're homeless and you don't have any connections out there, then you have nowhere to send your ID and then you pretty much just ID-less. So it's not only bringing this subject to light, but it's also I'm gonna really genuinely help these people, and I respect the subjects I'm interviewing. You know, like he wants to help them in a grander way than just putting a spotlight on something. Okay. You know, yeah, and then that inspired me a lot.
So, what made you want to do a documentary about go-go?
Well, go-go is something I love a lot. My mom always played go-go. Like I said, I grew up in Bowie, which shout is really, Bowie. Yeah, shout out Bowie, which is really the nicer side of PG. Nothing bad ever really happens in Bowie, but everything that's DC culture has reached outside of DC. I think everybody knows that. And Bowie is definitely a place where you can hear go-go music, especially at Bowie High School. All the parties back in the day. My sister was a little older than me, my older sister. Right. All the parties that she went to, she'd come home, show me the videos, and they playing go-go music inside the high school house parties. My friends are beating their feet at the school dance. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all coming together, especially with mom playing it so much. Mom's a huge go-go fan. She was never going to the go-go's. Right. She was kind of just like the nice white girl that just listened to go-go, just appreciated it, but was never like, she was never in it. Right. My dad was in it. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it, but I interviewed him for the go-go video, and he knew everything about DC. He's a DC native. Right. So he's been at the Black Hole. He's been at Club U. He's been at the Panorama Room. Like, these were all joints that he can. He was all telling stories from there and stuff. So with both of them, that was always something in the back of my mind. So now moved to 2025. I started this YouTube channel, and I'm like looking for different topics to make a video about. And when I think about go-go music, somehow it popped in my head. I wasn't sure. I think my dad's just hilarious, and I need an excuse to put him in a video. And what does he know most about? DC and go-go music. So I'm like, all right, I'll make a video about go-go just for him. But in reality, it was because I've listened to go-go my whole life, but how much do I really know about it? Not that much. I mean, like, I could sing you Sardines or Overnight Scenario front to back, but do I know anything about these bands or their story or really just the culture in general, like the wider image of it? Absolutely not. Okay. So I wanted to not only make a documentary about go-go music, but actively try to learn all about it and then just film that at the same time, which was really like all those interviews I did. I was actively sitting behind the camera learning about go-go music while the camera's just on recording and for a whole documentary. So some of my videos are in pursuit of an answer to a question that I cross-reference with, are people going to be interested in this? And with that, I end up creating like, the go-go video or certain other little documentaries I do. Because a lot of people love go-go. Go-go isn't really represented in film or movies. We've had Good to Go, which was a movie that came out in like 86, I believe, about go-go music. Had Chuck Brown in and all that, but the movie was just terrible. The movie was awful. in the go-go joint I did, Reverend Tony Lee, who's the
shout out Community of Hope.
Yes.
That's
I went
my
there.
pastor.
I told him that day when I went there to film them that I felt closer to God than I ever had before.
Amen.
Because when you mix the go-go with the gospel, it makes you want to get up out your chair. Honestly, it does. I was behind the camera, shaking the camera. I had to let go of it because I kept moving and bouncing to the gospel. But my point with Tony Lee was he said go-go is hip-hop, except hip-hop had better movies. And I'm like, that's real. I mean, it was born out of New York City very early back in the day. Hip-hop and go-go were born around the same times. And hip-hop had like Beat Street, Breakin'. You eventually had like Step Up and like what was that one? Stomp the Yard. You know what I'm saying? We had all these kind of like little hip hop movies, but Go-Go only had one movie and it never really sparked national interest. So I'm not exactly sure, but that was kind of all the reasons was I don't know enough about this and I want to know more. I'm sure other people also want a recap of Go-Go history. So why not do those two things at one time? Yeah.
So are you familiar with the bounce beat culture?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So what does that look like? When you were doing your interview on the streets, did you have people come up to you about the bounce beat music? That's a little different genre for me.
Yeah, I know it is. And the thing is, it's funny because I grew up with mom playing go-go that was from like the 80s and 90s. But for me growing up, the go-go I was hearing was the bounce beat. So to me, bounce beat's always been go-go music. But then I had everyone kind of explain to me like, listen, youngin', okay, bounce beat's a new thing. It's not exactly go-go. It's like a branch of go-go. It's a type of music that's underneath the blanket of go-go music, essentially. And that's how I understand it now. Okay. But no one actually had any comments on the bounce beat, and I should have asked more people. Okay. But until I uploaded it, let me tell you, these people in the comments, I had like 3 or 4 comments of people saying, that song you put in the beginning is not go-go music. Bounce beat's not go-go.
Wow.
Okay. And when I introduced bounce beat in the film, I put in parentheses on the TV, I said the old heads can't agree on whether this is good or not, because like that's pretty much the summary of it right there. There's a lot of people that love bounce beat and embrace it. And there's some people that say bounce beat just is not go-go entirely. It's entirely new form of music. I didn't get any takes from people, but my take on it is that it is go-go. It wouldn't exist without go-go. And you could easily more describe it by just saying it's a branch off the bass genre, which is the go-go music y'all know.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So how long did it take you to complete the movie or the documentary?
It was like about a month and a half total. The first like 2-3 weeks was all planning, emailing different people, trying to reach out to people I did know and see if they knew anybody that's in the go-go industry. I had interviews that also fell through, and I had to try to find other people to replace that one spot. And I'm glad it all worked out how it did, because I ended up having great interviews. And sometimes I feel like stuff like that's meant to happen. Yeah, for sure. But I'm sorry. Circle back to the question again. I don't know how I just did that.
No, it just was just to see how long did it take you to?
Oh, that's right. I apologize.
It's fine.
So how long did it take? So about a month and a half. I had to reschedule these interviews, and then once I did get them all done. But the original way I was going to do it was write a whole script for it. Like, instead of having them explain who Chuck Brown is, I was going to put them in, but then also have my own part where I explain certain things. That way it doesn't feel so jumpy. It feels kind of smooth. I'm bringing you through each person's interview. But I kind of realized, I was like, if I'm just now learning about the story, how am I going to write a script about something I don't even know about? So there was no point even trying to write a script. All I did was write an intro, write an outro, and let the people I interview fill in the rest of the story. Because I feel like the people who are a part of it should be the people that tell the story. How am I going to talk about what happened in the black hole in the late 80s when I was years off from even being here? You know what I'm saying? Right. So I feel like I got no place to comment on the black hole. What I need to do is get somebody who was there at the black hole and let them explain what was going on. I like how you work. Right. And plus that way too, you can also take a lot of the critique off your back. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm young and I'm commenting on the black hole, the old heads are gonna go crazy in the comments because I'm getting it wrong. But if I let Dad do it and he messes up somehow, well then they can just all get on him instead. But yeah.
Shout out Dad. What would you say was the most interesting thing you learned about Go-Go making this film?
The most interesting thing I learned was certainly how Chuck Brown traded in cigarettes for his guitar. I don't know if you knew this,
I
but
did.
okay, yeah, Chuck Brown. That blew my mind because that just shows like a lot of resilience. Essentially, the story goes that Chuck Brown had got locked up for assault. I think in the very early 70s, like 71 or 72. I think Bustin' Loose was written in 76, got released in 78. So this was not too far off. Got locked up on an assault charge, I believe, in a jail in North Carolina or around DC. I can't remember. Regardless, during his time there, there was a guy in the jailhouse that made guitars. And I can't remember what he was making them out of, but they, you know how they get crafty in there. They made a deal that he would trade 2 cartons of cigarettes, or I believe it was 3 cartons of cigarettes, for a homemade jailhouse guitar. And from that, Chuck Brown never even knew how to play guitar. He taught himself how to play in the cell with all the time he had. And once he got out, he joined Los Latinos, got his little Caribbean, little Latino music vibe from there. And then after that, he got with the Soul Searchers. So it was cool to know that the beginning of it was, that's the coolest fact I know about go-go music, is that Chuck Brown taught himself how to play guitar, and he did that in jail. And on top of that, he did it by trading in cartons of cigarettes. I thought that was gangsta. I thought that was cool.
Okay.
I love that part. Yeah.
Okay. We just found out a little history on Chuck Brown.
Mr. Chuck.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Do you think the go-go music genre has a chance to be supported outside of the DMV?
I don't know, because the thing is, I learned, I had thought that go-go had just never gotten out of DC before I started this, because I'm like, how could go-go not be this nationwide sensation at this point? Come to find out that go-go has gotten out plenty of times. Chuck Brown used to play in Tokyo, which I didn't even know. And apparently people in Tokyo love them some Chuck Brown. EU has done a couple tours that were international. I mean, not like far, but like a little Europe and things like that.
Right.
So go-go has gotten its chance outside, and which I didn't even know. My one man Chiefism, shout out to Chiefism if you're watching. Chief is the original drummer for Huckabucks. He told me they got a go-go band in Atlanta. They got a go-go band in Ohio, which I didn't even know about.
Oh, wow.
They have a go-go band out in San Diego, which is Tommy Guns. Tommy Guns is the original drummer for Northeast Groovers. He started a band called iNation out there in San Diego. He's trying to like bring that sound out there. They're doing live shows, trying to attract attention. So, I don't want to give a definitive answer because I don't want to put it down or raise it up when it's not like that.
Right.
But do I think it will ever? I don't know. I think I'm more 60-40. 60, no, it's just for us, and that's okay. 40, I don't think it would. I mean, if 40%, it could leave if the sound changes somehow. Throughout all the years, you notice go-go music changes. Like, it was all smooth and funk, and then in the 90s, it turned into rap because that's what was popular. Then in the 2000s, we got Grown and Sexy and R&B, and then we also moving into bounce beat. So then where's it going to go from here?
Gospel.
Now, gospel. But the problem is we got people turning away from God at large rates. So it's like if the gospel not hitting for you, we got to find a different way to get the go-go to the new generation if we wanted to continue on. But to finish up that thought, Tony Lee also said, if they keep pulling all the funding out of these schools for like band class and stuff, that's what's really going to drive it down. Like some of the best drummers we got in go-go are there because they was band kids first. They learn how to play the drums. They learn how to play the recorder in 5th grade first. And then they learn how to play the drums and play the trumpets that they wanted to, stuff like that. So when you get to a point where I could pull a rap beat off YouTube in 5 minutes and make a song in 10, compared to what you need to learn rhythm wise and tempo wise in order to play go-go physically with your hands, which one's going to be easier? Which one's more popular on top of that too? So the kids are pulling up their phones. They're not focusing on band class because the drums are old, or you know what I'm saying, or it's just, I don't want to make an excuse for it either because Junkyard started on buckets in the street. They did. So I don't want to make an excuse for it either. But at the same time, why is it just not making that connection with the new generation? Why is there not this new wave of go-go kind of music? We got bands still performing, but all their biggest songs are from 5 years or older now, or almost 10 years older now. Like BYB, Backyard Band's Hello by Adele, that remix, that's a timeless remix, right? Beautiful. I love it. But I think that one's almost like 10 years old now, or it's getting there.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, I don't know, because it'll have to continue to grow in order to spread out. And I just don't see it growing. I just see it living. Okay. Does that make sense? I hope that made sense.
That made a lot of sense. What would you call a success for this documentary?
Right.
From your lens.
For me, success is just when somebody said when I get one person to tell me I watched it all the way through, I loved every minute of it, like keep doing what you're doing. That it's funny because starting off small, that's really all you need to keep going. And that's really all I need right now. I measure the success by that, because every person I've showed, or like, for example, Chief from Huckabucks, he said he shared it with his friends and they were all hitting him back like, oh yeah, we need him. Like, he's putting on for us and all this different stuff. And that makes me feel good. And I measure success just by that. My goal was, like, if I wanted to set a goal, was going to be 10,000 views. And right now we're at 9,100 views. So yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, we're almost there. So it's kind of like that was what I was hoping for. But only if 100 people saw it and everybody just said they loved it and they learned something from it, I was going to say good enough. Good enough. Yeah, that's how I'm measuring success right now. Absolutely.
Okay, well, you on Talks with Topnotch, so you're going to get to that 10,000. I promise you that.
Oh, yeah, come on now.
How can the public support the film?
If the public wants to support the film, whenever you're with your aunts or your uncles and they know about Go-Go and y'all in the living room while watching some bullshit on the TV, turn on What Is Go-Go Music instead. That's what you should do. My one friend Manny said he showed his parents and they absolutely loved it. Like, she said she was laughing at certain parts. And when he told me that, like, that made me feel so good. Just, if you want to support it, go to the Downtown Dialogue YouTube channel. There is no paywall. You don't got to pay nothing for that. I'm not making any money off it right now. So just go on there, enjoy it. The number one way to support it would just be to subscribe to the channel and watch it all the way through, because it's a lot of history. You're going to need some popcorn. You're going to need some time. Okay. Because it's a long one, but it's a good one.
All right, Tony. Yeah. Well, drop your tags for the listening audience.
Oh, the tags. Tags are going to be just Downtown Dialogue on everything. I haven't tried to spell this on the interview before. Here we go. DOWNTOWNDIALOGUE. Downtown Dialogue. That'll be on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Yep. Yeah, it's Downtown Dialogue on everything. Come check me out if you want to see some raw street interviews. If you want to see some unfiltered content, if you want to stay updated on the politics, learn how to get active, I would definitely come check me out. Yeah.
So, Tony, what's next?
What's next?
Before we end, what's next?
Okay. All right. I think that this one's really interesting. You ready to hear this? Let me take a sip of my water before I get into this one right here.
Okay, go ahead. Sip away. Let me sip too. Mm-hmm. It feels like it's a lot of tea.
Here, you want to hit cheers? Cheers to water.
Okay, let's go.
So I told you I live in Bowie. I don't know if you've ever seen it. If you're passing on like 450, say you're heading on like Annapolis Road, from Bowie High School to Crofton, right? And on the right hand side, there's Sacred Heart Church. It's like an old Catholic church. It's one big building, and up on the hill, they got an even larger church. So I found out recently, in 2022. They discovered with ground sonar 200 unmarked graves on the site of the church. What we didn't know at the time was, and it has been rediscovered, is while it was a Catholic church, pre-1840, 30, I believe, it was White Marsh Plantation. So the Jesuits actually ran essentially a Catholic plantation. Tobacco, all that stuff, and the 200 bodies are believed to be the enslaved. Now, here's where it gets even deeper. The cemetery sits on a plot right behind the church, nice flat land, right? Everyone's got tombstones, no trees, all nice and clear. And then where the tree line begins is also where the hill starts to fall off. And along this hill in the forest is where all the unmarked graves are. And the only tombstones they had were rocks. They buried a singular rock in the ground, just kind of stuck a little bit of it up out the dirt and didn't engrave it with nothing. That's all they got. So it kind of goes to show that there's inequality even in death. And considering that it's a Catholic church is kind of very interesting and ironic. And also the fact, too, that on top of this, I mean, they founded the White Marsh Historical Society. which is basically the group of descendants who have been able to track their DNA back to the enslaved who are buried there. And I'm trying to get interviews with them right now because I definitely want to speak to them for a majority of it. But when I try to get comment from Sacred Heart, it's very difficult.
Okay.
They have done like a little blessing. They had the Archdiocese. I'm not sure. I think that's how you say it, from the Catholic Church of Baltimore. He came out there and did a blessing for all the graves. He said marked or unmarked. So they have kind of done a little thing, but this was 2022. It's 3 years later. We still have no memorial. The same flags that were put out there by the lady who did the ground sonar, the anthropologist, for every single one she scanned, she put a little pink flag, like the ones used for like pesticides in your yard. She put out, I mean, there's photos that I have from when I first went out there. When I first heard the story a couple months ago, I took photos and the whole hill is just lined with flags. I mean, as far as you can see, trees and pink flags, and they're still out there right now. The flags from day one. And it's kind of like, I'm not sure if they're going to be doing any exhuming. I'm not sure if they're going to memorialize. They say they plan to, but there's still no memorial. So it's kind of like, I want to do a documentary about Sacred Heart Church. Why all of a sudden in 2022, we finally find out there's 200 enslaved buried there. Obviously, if we had known this, they would have had some sort of memorial or something. I feel like even in the 90s or 2000s, when we were kind of coming around a lot in terms of like societal norms, we still should have been able to memorialize. So why has this been kind of like this kept secret in Bowie for so long? Why are there a lack of records? Why is there a lack of a memorial? And an interesting twist to it, to wrap it up, there's a property that lies across from 450 that used to be an old house, which I believe to be the old priest's home. And it was also a farm, like confirmed by land records, that also had tobacco. So I'm wondering if that was the pastor's home, or if I could confirm that. I confirmed it with land records, but I want to see that old house back there. Now it's all abandoned. It's grown over with trees, and there's just a no trespassing sign. So I want to see what that kind of mystery leads to, if there's any links to that home in Sacred Heart. Regardless, the story in of itself is kind of just really tragic. And I just want to cover it to kind of, number one, raise awareness that this was literally only 5 minutes down the street from like Bowie suburbs, like the O section. You know, this is only 10 minutes from Bowie Town Center, and it just sits right there. No one even knew about it. Records show there's 600 to 900 people buried total there. The ground sonar only scanned 200, but she said herself that there's several hundred more. So we could be looking at 100 to like 500 enslaved buried with no graves, no tombstone. You'd have no idea who they were, what they did, the duties that they fulfilled every single day, who their descendants were. It's hard to, unless you do, exhuming. So I just think it's a very interesting story. That's what I'm working on right now. I'm trying to get in contact with everybody, do my little interviews, and get it planned out. Hopefully get that out by the end of September. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. I'm excited for that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna blow the door off this whole thing. I don't know. I'm gonna talk to everybody. I'm gonna find the answers.
You are? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Tony, thank you for taking this time out to interview here at Topnotch.
I appreciate you inviting me.
I appreciate you. And I look forward to having you back to see what's next.
Absolutely. I look forward to being back myself.
So we out of here.
See y'all.
Peace.
Oh, that was good.